Welcome to the channel Learning R is Fun. In the last video, we have got introduced to the control structures in general and some control structures such as if, else, if else, etc. In this video, we will cover for, while, repeat and switch structures. R's control structure is built upon these keywords. In all of these, we execute a block of statements a given number of times based on some conditions. In the case of if and switch, the execution of block is only once. In the case of for, while and repeat, the execution of the blocks would be repeated till some condition has been reached. For loop executes statements till supplied val is available in the sequence is exhausted. In another variation, instead of the sequence, you supply a vector for verifying val in that vector. While and repeat loops are similar and executes all statements in the block. But while block gets executed only when condition evaluates to true. For repeat, no such condition is to be satisfied to enter the block. Switch provides an elegant way out of too many else-if situations. In for, while and repeat loops, the exit from the loop can be done in two ways. Break breaks out of a for, while or repeat loop. Control is transferred to the first statement outside the innermost loop. Next halts the processing of the current iteration and advances the looping index. Both break and next apply only to the innermost of nested loops. We will continue with the same program control structures.r and with the line number 65. We will start with the for statement for I, that is the value, in sequence 1:10. It starts with 1 and then in 1:10 it is available, therefore print 1 square will take place. Then 1 will automatically get incremented in the for loop. So 2 is available in the sequence, therefore 2 square will come. So up to 10 we should get the results. Let's see. Yes. Now we'll go to another variation of for class. Here we are putting C, that is a placeholder in which the John, Jones, Jagannath will go and then that will go into the statement. Print ncar C. Ncar is number of characters. So number of characters in each of the string will be printed. That is the purpose of this block. So let's execute this. We are getting 4, 5 and 9. So it's correct. Now we'll go to the while group of statements. Before entering the while condition, we are saying I is 0. This assignment takes place. Then the loop is entered. Now I is less than 5. Yes, it is true. Therefore these two will have to be executed. So 0 to be shown. Then 0 to be incremented to 0 plus 1, that is 1. And then this loop will have to repeat because 1 is again less than 5. So when it becomes 5, 5 is less than 5 is not going to be true. So the loop will end. So let's see this portions getting executed. As expected, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are getting all the results will come again in the form of a vector. We know that. So we will experiment with the next while group of statements. Here, instead of giving a criterion, I am straight away saying it's true. That means this block will be indefinitely repeated. So we have to provide a way to come out of this, that is the break. And this break is going to be applied when I is greater than 10. Okay. So when the while class is started, yes, it is true, print I. Now what is the value of I? The I value has become 5 in the previous loop. That's why when 5 is not less than 5, so it has come out of this. So it will start from 5 here and then when it becomes 10, it is going to come out of it. So 10 will get printed, but it will come out. So let's say it should get 5 to 10. Let's see this. 5 to 10. This is what we expected and that's what we got. Repeat is just like while true. Repeat, there is no condition, straight away you enter. Here again you are giving the same break. But in this case, I is 10. So let's again make the I as 0. So we can say I will ascend 0. Now we'll execute this repeat group. So we are getting from 0 to 10. So what happens when it becomes 10? 10 becomes 11. Then 11 is greater than 10. It has to break. Till such time it is not true, so break will not be done. When it becomes 11, it will be coming out. So up to 10 you will get the printing. And since initially you have set I as 0 here, therefore it starts from 0. So we have seen break takes the control out of the loop, whereas next will not be like that. Next will stop only the current iteration. So that's the difference. Next can be used again in while as well as for, etc. So now we'll see a situation where next is applied. Here there is a combination of for, if, next, everything. So let's try to comprehend what is happening. For value in this vector. So this I will take values of A, B, C, etc. up to E. And then inside the function body, we are seeing there is a if clause. If I is equal to A, double equal, that means equality is verified. So this will become true or false. Similarly, this will be verified. Then since there is an OR condition here, vertical bar, so either this or this should be true. So that the whole if will become true and then this will be done. When this is not true, then this if will not be executed. Then the block following if will not be executed. Let's see what's happening. So initially we will have to give A. So A is equal to A, that is true. That means the whole thing is true. Therefore next will have to happen. That means next loop for will take place. That is, it will become B. Then in this loop again B is compared and then C, D, like that. So only in the case of A and D, the next is going to be performed. In other cases, this is not going to be performed. Therefore, let us see the results. The result should be without A and D. We get B, C and E. That is, whenever it becomes either A or D, this I, then that's not going to print because it is going to the next condition. Now in this case, instead of I double equal to A or double equal to D, we are going to give, if I is any one of this, then skip. That is, the next is basically skipping the iteration. So in this case what happens? Let's see. We must get all alphabets except this. So we are getting A, E, I, O, U. These are the things missing. That is, vowels are missing. So we have understood for, if, and then the combination of this whole arrangement. We will continue our discussion with switch now. The statement at 121, we assign a value of 1 to 10 to x. Then we are defining a function, center, and that function definition involves two arguments. X we have just given the value and case is another argument. And then inside the function body, we are having a switch function. Switch parenthesis opens here and closes here. And the first statement within the switch function is case. It's an expression rather. And then the case choices are mentioned one after another. Mean, median, three choices. So when the center function is called, if that function is called with mean characters, then this function will be executed, mean of x. If the center function is called with max then max will be executed. If it is called with something which is not known here, then the stop will be executed. This is the whole idea. Whatever x is there, that x will come here, and this functions of mean, median, max and all will operate on that x. So now let us go ahead and execute these statements and see the results. So we have allotted x something, and now we will define this function center. Center function has been defined. Now we are going to make the call center with the two arguments. One argument is the x which we have defined, and the another argument is mean. It's a character string. So now what happens is this mean character string will be verified inside the switch body, and then it will find out whether any matching case is available. If it's available, then that corresponding function will be executed. So mean, so it is matched with the mean function, mean x. So we are getting result of mean. Now we are asking for minimum, but there is no such definition inside the switch. Therefore we go to the stop condition, and that is what is executed. If you ask, say, max, in this case we are getting maximum value of 1 to 10, we are getting this. In the console we will give, say, 20:100 mean. Now let's see what happens. This function call should operate on 20:100. So 20:100, the average is 60. 20 plus 40 is 60, 40 plus 60 plus 40 is 100. So we are getting the average here. So I am trying to explain that x need not have been defined in the beginning itself. It can be anything which you supply, and that will be matched with x, and then the case will be matched with the mean, and then you will get the switch perform. Now let us see one more example to get this whole thing clear. Here we are not having two arguments to the function. We are going to define a function, switch function. So function definition starts with a function keyword. Then here we are giving one argument, that is ch, and then within the function body we are creating a function switch again. The first line in the switch function is the argument the function will get, that is that ch will be written here, and then when ch is matched with a, result should be 1. When ch is matched with b, result should be 3. When it matches with c, then result should be 5. If nothing is matching, then this is what should come. So we have completed this whole brackets and all. Now let's see. We will define the switch function now. So switch function has been defined properly. Now you see, this function I have written in such a fashion, it's difficult to understand the flow of the arguments here. So there is a shortcut, Control Shift A, or we can use the code, then reformat code, Control Shift A. If you use that, then you will get this. So we have to just highlight this and then use Control Shift and A. So the whole thing becomes nicely formatted. Now it is very easy to understand. So now let us execute this. Basically I have repeated this here, so we will go from here. So switch function has been defined now. We will call the switch function with C character. So the C will go into CH, and CH cases will be verified. So C should be 5, therefore I should get 5 here for this call. I am getting 5. Next call I am getting 1. For B call I am getting 3. Whereas for Z I should get error. So could not find a value. I have used a stop when the supplied value is not matching with any of the switch cases. Then you are going to the stop. Suppose you don't define any stop, then what happens is the switch function returns a null. So in this case, we'll do the same thing but without writing the stop condition. So let us define this function once again. Now we'll make a call switch function z. When we do this, there is no match, so null should come assigned to result. Let's see that it is null. We have come to the end of our session. We have covered if, else, if, for, while, repeat control structures provided by R in 2 videos. Although these structures are intuitive, it requires a little bit of practice to get them right. In our next video, we will cover inbuilt data sets in R. Till then, bye from me. Thanks for watching.